Roll call.
Mrs. Bastelli?
Here.
Mr. Colon?
Here.
Mr. Sirianni?
Yes.
Dr. Selly? Here. Mrs. Billings?
Here.
And I hereby certify that this meeting has been published in the newspapers in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act and posted required by law.
Thank you very much. This evening we have quite a lot to cover in the next hour and a half. And we're going to start with our first presentation, the Black Ridge with Nathan Wright, John Junko, and James Montefiore.
Ms. Billings, John Junko appearing on behalf of this applicant. And we're seeking to ask you to do a workshop type review of our proposed redevelopment area. And Jim Montefiore is our architect, and we've been through the planning stage, and we think we're really ready to get to CAFRA and to get to a public hearing. We're on the verge of completing our documents. And with that, I would ask if you would let Jim present to you what we have in mind for this site, and we'll start moving forward in that direction.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Actually, we've been here once before, and we've moved the project along since you've seen it last. Architecturally, the building hasn't really changed. We've fine-tuned it. We've fine-tuned the site. We've re-altered the landscape plan so that everything kind of grows out of the ground with the gradings. And our front courtyard area was reconfigured to have a berm at the front entrance and walk around these walls.
Excuse me, can I ask you just to recap the project?
The project is 40 apartment units with parking underneath it, structured parking underneath. There's 81 units in the building, parking units in the building, and there's 9 parking units on the outside in the courtyard area in the front when you pull up. Ocean is on my right, and Ocean Boulevard is on my left. All the drawings are set up in the same manner. So we have a center corridor. You actually enter at the parking garage level. The lobby is down at the parking garage level, and then you come up a level to the main lobby, and then there's a corridor that goes straight through the building with 2 elevator access points. So here's our parking garage, and you can see how that's cleanly laid out. It's a single loop, come in and around and back out again. Here's our lobby, and the elevators are there, and there's also an elevator on this side of the building for
How many parking spots are there?
There's 81 in here and 9 out on the field.
Okay.
So here's our basic, and we're going to be presenting our basic units are laid out this way. Here's you come in out on this lobby. There's a large lobby area. There's a concierge, and there's also a caretaker's unit here. That one's not included. That will be on site supervision for the project. Joe, help me out. It's kind of hard to see this, but we have our unit breakdowns on the top of this page with our square footages. It's 88,000 square feet is the building size, so the habitable space. And the building is actually tiered up away from the ocean. You can see as the building moves back from Ocean Avenue, it'll be stepping up, and it's also staggered. And then we have all these wooden trellises. The building is this wooden structure that grows out of the ground and beats you up the end. And we're using wood material, simulated wood materials, and a metallic material also to contrast the two. We can have our renderings. So as you get up to the top, we have 2 3-bedroom penthouses, and they're located on the top, the 6th floor of the building. And then you can see this is our roof decks that tier up. So this is a section of how the building works. And get through all that. So we have some 3D. Yeah, we have some 3D perspective views rendered of the building. Just get us going and make it a little bigger. Yeah, hit that one. You told me. Slide it over. All right, so this is a view of the building from Ocean Boulevard. That's really good. Phone call. This is the view of the building from Ocean Boulevard. You can see how you go in and then you come back around. We have the trellis. We're wrapping through the back of the building and coming down over the portico. Scroll it up. This is a view.
Look,
Use this thing.
let's do that then.
So this is a view looking from the south back at the building, and the building is, you can see the building is tiered this way. There's a wooden material with these trellises that block the views of the balcony decks back towards the Ocean Boulevard. And then these panels are metallic metal panel that kind of, as you go by the building will actually change kind of colors as you go by it. And I have a sample of a panel right here. And then this is a view of the building looking in the air back at the building, and you can see all the terracing going on and all the trellises, very beachy feel. And then we have a stone material at the base, and then we have all these neat little screen walls and trellises that climb the building, almost as if it were a mountainside with little units going up the mountainside. This is from Ocean Avenue side. This is the lowest point of the building, so the building starts at 3 stories over here and steps its way up. And this is an aerial from Ocean Avenue, Ocean Boulevard rather, and back.
Are you going to be following the landscaping that's pretty much along the boulevard now?
Yes, this is basically based on what the landscaping plan was looking at doing. These plans came off our landscape plan. We're still working on the site grading and manipulating a little bit, and we're resolving some height issues with the grading and matching the neighbors. So this is a grade view looking back at the balconies. And this is from a terrace above looking down. It's very interesting. It has a very interesting look as you stand on the balconies. And then this is again our view from Ocean Boulevard. And then this is looking at the balconies on the south side.
You're at the end.
Yeah, I think that's it. And that's basically the building. I have Jason Fitcher here.
The project engineer, Mr. Fichter's here. There's a few questions that we've been asked to work on, some grades on either side. We just had a little bit of a review of that. Could you just give a commentary on what you plan to do with those?
Yeah, I think the grading around the site can be worked out. We're very, very close to the way it's designed right now. We just met with some of your professionals, representatives, and got some comments from them that we can accommodate. In the grand scheme of things, it's not going to change things all that much, but the differences that will be made are considered significant from your professional standpoint. We can accommodate that.
So basically, you're saying you will soften the approach and the view of the grades with this
That's the
design.
idea, that's right. Yep, grading won't change, stormwater won't change, all that stuff stays the same. It's just
And the elevations really won't change, but they'll be
massaging the grading.
graded differently.
Right.
And these are our materials thus far. So we have our simulated wood, and we have our trellis beams that go up the side, and then we're using a sand-colored sandstone. And this is our metallic metal panel. I don't know if you can see it, but when you kind of turn it, it changes colors. It really works outside very well. Like when the sun goes down, it's going to hit it when you make it with the sunrise. So also when you're driving by the building, because all the panels are tilted this way, when you drive by the building on Ocean Boulevard, you'll see the building kind of change, kind of like it's alive. And I guess that's all. Any questions?
That's sort of where the design, there isn't a big change in the building itself since our original presentation. There's been some change in the elements around it in terms of the grade and the design, and now we're finalizing those. And quite frankly, it seems like what was finalized, what today seems to be the final comments, they seem to be very limited, so we anticipate being able to address them within the next few days, and then return them to Carl and company for review. And we also, Mr. Beckelman's provided the redevelopers agreement to us. We have comments that we should come back to you this week. And we kind of think that we're maybe ready to move onwards. So what I would ask, and this is based on both Jim and Jason telling me that they're in a position to get this here. Perhaps we could consider the next meeting for a formal designation as redeveloper, because right now we're in the conditional stage, and what we would like to do is get these plans to CAFRA and then be able to move through the board. Our client, the developer of Black Ridge, is managed by Nathan Reich, and he's anxious to begin this project. He actually wants to build it now. And add to that, we also have been working with the adjoining redevelopers about arrangements for a sewer arrangement, which is really a pro rata funding arrangement as it relates to how those facilities will be brought to this site that would actually serve 3 additional properties.
Any questions? Michael, John, Joyce?
Rob, is that a timetable that can work from your
If
perspective?
everything's buttoned up, yes, that could work, that's workable, subject to, of course, your comments. And
Next meeting, 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now?
What would be before us, if I hear this right, would be a proposal for a resolution to sign a developer's agreement with your client, John.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
That's what we would ask.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Thank you. Our next presentation is Tyler Homes with Jeff Garris and Frank Barr. Good evening.
Good evening. Team chart here. Good evening. My name is George Brandt. I am Executive Vice President of Tyler Homes. And with me tonight is Frank Baer from WSB Engineering. He's our civil engineer. And Jeff Garris, who is our project architect. This is our first meeting with the redevelopment board. And we have a very brief presentation. The subject property is at 78 Ocean View Terrace, and it is bounded by Marine Terrace to the east, and
It's in close proximity to Ocean Boulevard.
and in close proximity to Ocean Boulevard. Currently, there exists a single-family, Cape Cod-style home that's probably 80 or 90 years old. We're proposing the development of 4 townhomes on the property with 8 parking spots to the rear of the project.
There are actually 8 structured parking with the 8 spaces are actually on the first level where the unit goes up, living units above it. So you'll have 8 structured parking for the residents of the building. And then you've got 4 on-street parking spaces that we're providing.
How many units?
4.
And how many bedrooms in each unit?
3 bedroom.
3 bedroom unit.
3 bedroom, 2.5 bath, Jeff?
2, yeah, 2.5.
2.5 bath.
So you're going to rip the house down and build these?
Yes.
We have the, that area. Do you know where your property is?
Let's see.
Keep going up, George. You up on the corner, you almost had it there. You see the vacant lot? Go across the street from there.
Is this Ocean Terrace here?
Yes.
That's Ocean Terrace, right?
Let's see.
Yeah, Ocean Terrace is the one before.
That looks right where that stand is. You're right next to the fence, aren't you?
You're right on the corner of Ocean and Marine.
So we're right here. It's a ship stop here.
Oh, boy.
Actually, that was pretty good.
So you're on the south end of that rectangle?
Yes.
On the south end of that rectangle?
The bottom
Where that
upstairs. See, there's like 2 houses that are on the bottom.
Yeah, it's the lower, it's the...
The lower house.
The lower
with all
house.
the shrubbery.
Yes.
Just to refresh council's recollection, this is part of the settlement that came out of the TOSA litigation, where property owners were able to develop certain properties to a certain extent pursuant to a settlement that was entered years ago before Judge Kavanaugh. It was authored by Pratap, so Pratap will review this, the terms of the settlement as to the design guidelines and what could be built. So as soon as this is reviewed, it's a smaller project and could come back very quickly.
So then Tyler is a resident?
No,
Tyler is contract
purchaser of property that was owned by a settlor of that litigation at the time, going back to 2009, I think. That's
So
when that
does he
litigation-
benefit the arrangements from the?
Some of,
The property owner's benefit is that they can sell the property for development.
correct.
Right.
Can you make that go small? Rest of the rest of that area.
Okay, does anybody have any questions? Okay, good so far. Wish you best of luck.
Okay, so.
Thank you.
Next step would be, what? Get, okay, Bob. Thanks, Bob. Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
Appreciate your
Thank
time.
you.
Thanks.
You've approved 3 or 4 of these smaller developments in the north.
The Milano
section.
is one of them, right?
That's correct. There's one that's being built right now on the corner.
Correct.
Ocean Boulevard.
Hello there.
What?
We'll get a copy of the
What did you say
contract.
the address was?
78?
78.
78 Ocean View Terrace.
Ocean, it's Ocean Terrace, he's got the name.
Okay, our next item is a discussion regarding the concession stand bids. Mr. Woolley?
Yes, Mr. Spalding opened the the proposals last Thursday then?
Yes.
And we got 2 proposals in. The higher of the 2, we have to you this evening, was from a company called Park Eats. And the agreement is attached there too. They were $6,000 higher than the second bid, I believe.
Yes.
Yes. That's
Attached to this?
Veggie burgers are on the menu. Prices seem very reasonable.
Prices are
Very reasonable.
We checked them out. They have operated concessions in Brick, with the county of Monmouth, and with some other, they did some golf course, halfway houses, and everybody gave them very solid review. So we think we've got a good operator down there. Check cleared. So, we're recommending award to them.
Any questions?
So just out of curiosity, there was a lot more interest, but then a bunch
Yes,
of people
the
dropped
fact
out?
that we don't have a gas line down there, so we don't have natural gas in it, so it had to be an electric facility. So some of your existing restaurateurs have gas appliances, and they didn't want to go out and buy new electric stuff. This lady evidently is used to that, and, there's no problem for her and the other person. We had 16 people picked up. About 8, 9 people did tours with Stan and Freddie, and we got 2. But they're 2 solid bids. It's $12,000 more than what we thought we were going to get. So, but my concern, quite frankly, was to get a solid operator, and they seem to be pretty solid. And Brick Township's very high on them. So.
But we do have the option if it doesn't work out
Yes.
to.
Yeah, that was Joy's
do the
point.
best.
Where is that? I don't see the option in the lease.
Number 40, I think.
Where they added something to it.
You did?
That got added.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, no, we
A hard copy of your plan also.
You've got the hard copy.
got a hard copy here.
Number-
It's On the first page of the addendum, it's the last paragraph of the addendum,
Number 40.
number 40. There's a right to cancel every year on a 60-day notice.
Prior to the bid
And we
season.
put that in because that was part of the bid spec itself. So it's no surprise to the bidder.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Jimmy, I have just one question. I just wanted to ask you on the section 2 conditions of the lease. It's 99 on our iPad here, but number 6, it said, during the term of the lease, the lessee shall at a minimum operate the concession stand to coincide with the operation of the beach, which is open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. 7 days per week, inclement weather accepted. So my question is that clear enough? Does that mean that they need to be open when the beach is open?
That is correct. That is correct. And they can stay open later, they can open earlier, and they can open
On nasty days.
on
That
nasty
I
days.
understand. I wanted to be sure, because it wasn't clear to me, that we know that they need to be open 9 to 5, but then it says 7 days per week, comma, inclement weather accepted. My question is, who determines what's
The beach
inclement
opening,
weather?
they
I
know
would say
that.
if we're closed and they choose to close, they can do so.
It's dependent upon the city.
Right, but my question was, if the beach for some reason is open and they decide that there's inclement weather,
No, they can't make
they
that decision.
cannot. So
That's our decision.
That's clear there.
That's right, because it's keyed to the beach.
Yeah, what we've had in the past is, when we've had a good operator in there, and most of the time we have, those people wanted to stay open longer hours and more days. Open before Memorial Day, and stay open after Labor Day, and we have no problem with that.
No, I understand. I was more concerned because you had said that there had been issues in the past where perhaps they weren't open or whatever, and that's why I wanted
Well,
to make sure
that was straight through clement or inclement weather.
Okay.
We had one less than sterling performer, but that's back a ways. You know, we've had a couple of very good ones down here too.
Okay, good.
West End. And we're hoping that this.
For them to make money, they have to be open.
Yeah, we're putting a lot of
They're
money
not
into this thing.
destination.
$33,000 plus the cost of their equipment. No, we're gonna have easily
At
$50,000.
$5 a burger, they're gonna be open.
I have another question. I have another question on number 3.
But they're
It
packing.
says that additionally, for the convenience of the patrons of West End Beach, the lessee may have an employee walk the beach selling refreshments. Is there any reason why we're not putting that on all the other beaches?
Yeah, because we didn't do this and we took that language is taken from the award for the West End Beach and we didn't modify it.
Okay, so can we modify
Yeah, we
that?
can, yeah, we can add that. We'll
So
let
that,
them
so that they will,
Yes.
okay.
Any other questions?
So they'll be
Yeah, I
allowed,
have one.
they'll be allowed to what then?
We'll work it out with them, you know, how that'll,
They would be allowed to
We'll work
walk
it out.
on the beach, to sell their menu
Yeah.
items on the beach should they desire.
we'll work it out with Stan, you know, as to where our operations go.
Number 19 on the next to the last page, where it says the lessee shall sell no glass bottles or containers.
Yes.
Plastic is okay?
Plastic's okay. A, it's recyclable, and B, it's not breakable, and you don't want people without shoes on running around, you know, trying to circumvent potential broken glass.
And who's gonna police that?
Well, it's a violation of the lease. We can cancel the lease if they start to
Okay.
do it.
Any more questions? Okay, thank you. Director Roebuck, meters and vehicle purchase.
Why am I getting a bad look?
Rely on that vehicle.
I see that. Now let's start with
got a
the
good
meters
haircut.
then.
You got a good haircut, though.
I did get a good haircut. Yes.
It's not nice to mention a person's haircut on this topic.
Well, if you're saying nice things. We got to start talking about the meters. So if there's going to be any changes in the ordinance for this year, we probably need to talk about it relatively soon. We had a lot of issues. Obviously, you guys all heard about the 2-hour parking in Pier Village. So we're trying to fix that problem, and one idea was to get rid of the time limit and raise the price there. So we wanted to start talking about that and see if that's something that we wanted to do. Kind of force them into using the lots for long-term during the day.
Over the last couple summers, that people that park for 2 hours.
Right.
Not even there for more than that, still got a ticket, or didn't understand your signage. And I don't know if you always got, I got it.
They got them too, I got them,
Yeah.
everybody got them.
So if we were to increase the pricing, it would only be in Pier Village?
Don't know. Here,
That's a decision. You guys are the ones who actually voted in.
here's the thing. If we go with the license plate reader option, where they're putting in their license plates, I think we have to do it globally, because they'd be just putting in their license plate. If we stayed with the parking space,
That wouldn't affect the rate. The rate would be whatever you set it.
But I asked.
But we couldn't do it
if
just
there's
in-
a different rate in Pier Village.
Yeah, we were recommending an increased rate there,
but if we go to the license plates, I don't think we can do that. I think if
Or
we,
set it at 4 hours, whichever you choose.
I would prefer to set it at 4 hours rather than raise the, across the board.
If we can raise it just in Village to a lot of people who park that close to the beach and pay $2 an hour, and they've got other options. And then we leave those cars there for merchants.
And you're also, that would push people out of Pier Village
That's the
to
idea.
go to the other ones.
well, at least they would go park in the lots where you can get a better deal to park long
We
term.
really can't make the decision though until we know whether or not it can be done.
I'm pretty sure, if we want to go to license plate readers this year, it's easier for us to enforce than having a guy on foot going by with a hand scanner and look at everything like that. I don't think if we go to the license plate readers that we can just raise it in Pier Village. I can get that answer for you. But
Well,
I'm
wouldn't there
pretty
be-
sure, I'm pretty sure we
I used the
can.
app, and there's different zones. We couldn't do a Pier Village zone?
We can if we,
We could do zipper zones. Let's bring him in and talk
we,
to him before.
we can if we stay with the zones. If we go to the license plate only, it's just because you're just using your license plate. You're not using a zone. If we just stay with the zones, we can just raise it in that zone.
But in, like, the train station, they ask for your license and the zone.
We were told that the software on these meters, you can't do that.
No, they don't
Those are going.
I have my license plate in there and it comes right up.
No,
All right, let's-
I go every day. I never ask
We'll
for
bring
it.
him in and talk to him and get back to you next week.
Huh?
Use the app? The app?
No, I just.
No, we're talking about the app.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, we were told, the guy from the meter told us that they can't do both.
When was
They
this?
can't do meter, and Charlie told me tonight when I talked to him, that we can't do both. We can't do license plate and zone. If we could, that would make it great. And whether or not they could have that happen in the next couple months, I don't think so. Maybe at some point we can. But that's something that we need to talk about. The second part of that is we don't meter the west side of Ocean Avenue, Old Ocean Avenue, and the southbound side of Seaview Avenue. It's about 125 spaces, 150 spaces down there.
Could you repeat those places again?
Here.
Mr. Willie's going to bring it up for you.
Ocean Avenue North.
Ocean Avenue North, the old
Just do
Ocean.
the north side of Seaview and the east side of Ocean Avenue.
Right.
It's our recommendation to extend it to the west side of Ocean Avenue and the south side of Seaview. Because what's happening is, the people are coming down, I know what it was in response to, the
Right.
residents. But what's happening on the weekends is the people are coming down, this side is free, that's where they're parking. So the residents aren't even getting their parking.
Aren't parking there anyway.
It's all.
And we're losing the first 150 cars on the weekend.
When the free spots are full, then they start parking in the pay spots.
So even if you do live there, you don't have a spot Friday, Saturday, or Sunday anyway, because there's somebody there already.
That's also the 9 to 5?
Yes.
That's the
that
9
is
to 5
9 to
area,
5.
correct.
That is 9 to 5.
That is the 9 to 5
Village is
area.
10 to midnight.
Right.
So
Right.
after 5 o'clock and before
No, I'm
9
thinking more
o'clock,
because when we were bringing
park there for
in
free.
the meters, we heard from the residents, and I'm sure we'll hear from them again, but it is 9 to 5.
Yes. So, overnight parking is fine.
Yeah.
You just You just gotta get it out there
before 9 a.m.
before 9 o'clock.
I'd like to hear from the residents before we make that
They're gonna want the
decision.
whole thing for it.
You're what?
They want the whole thing for it.
They're gonna ask for badges and
Permit parking?
permit
Well,
parking.
well, let me ask you this, if they were satisfied with the one side, or saw that as a compromise, to now change it back to what they
Correct.
didn't want originally,
That's what we're trying to get to.
why do it?
I'm not sure if they're satisfied or very happy with it because they can't park there most of the time during the weekends because it's already
How do you know
filled
that
up.
information? Like,
Because we're there every
people
weekend and we see it.
Has anybody,
We see it there every weekend. We see, yeah, I mean, we see the place get filled up there first. I mean, if
When seven
you had an option, what would you do?
When seven presidents
You would go to the one
fills
that's
up,
free.
which I'm sure that lot filled, they're gonna park over there and they're gonna park on the free side.
Yeah, I mean,
But suppose you have some residents whose guests do come down
Mhm.
on Friday afternoon, and they're some of the cars that park there.
possible.
That's going to eliminate those
Correct.
people, which I think was
I
part
mean,
of the
it's your
concern.
choice.
Your call. Either way, it doesn't really matter to
I
us.
just don't see if.
We just want to bring it
had
up.
this discussion and there was some sort of compromise that the residents seemed to be happy with. I don't know why we would necessarily change it back to what they were opposed to.
in that one
I don't know.
particular area there, the first strip from Seaview, which was, I guess, in front of, on the other side of between the first strip, the first section. I don't think there's
On
any.
Seaview?
Yeah, no, on Ocean Avenue, between Seaview and,
In July,
well, I'm trying to show you.
you just have commercial in there.
Yeah, this area here,
There's
there's no
no,
residents, so why not
Except-
put it on both sides there?
except on Seaview. Correct, right. And that, correct.
Yep.
Correct.
You're right.
So that area could be.
You're right. And then leave Seaview the way it is because you do have residents there. And I don't know how many parking spots they let them have over there in those few apartment complexes or condo complexes they have. Yeah.
Two spots per year.
Yeah. So if you have somebody down for the weekend, maybe,
No, they don't have anything for guests.
Right.
But that was their point when they came up with the meetings.
All right, I mean, if we just want to do that section, it seems like a pretty good,
Well, think about it and get your comments to Jason, and then we can
Okay.
move forward from there.
so we want to find out whether we can do Pier Village, raise just Pier Village by itself. And if we can't just do that by itself, then where do we want to go from
Let's
here?
meet with them and come back to them.
Okay. Vehicle purchase. The vehicle purchase plan that we did last year, getting the 7 new cars, has worked great, excellent. We're not asking for any more money, same amount of money that, we agreed on when we did the 3-year plan. We just, I was talking to the mayor, and
I said, come to you guys.
he said come to you guys because he loves SUVs so much, he decided to let me bring this to you since
don't
he,
like this.
since he loves SUVs so much.
They're wasting money and they don't do what they're.
Instead of purchasing the 7 cars, we want to get 1 or 2 SUVs, just so we'd have them for the snow and for when it floods and all that other stuff. They actually,
What kind are you looking at?
the Fords, they're smaller than the ones that you see out there now, the 3 that we have for the sergeants. They're not the real big SUVs.
It's like an Explorer.
It's like an Explorer. They actually get better mileage than the Dodges that we have.
And what will that do to your plan of the 7?
Same thing, we're just gonna buy 1 or 2, whatever we can afford. They're not that much more money, so we can eat it and we can figure it out somewhere. They're like 1,000
So
or 2
there'll
more.
still be 7 vehicles.
Still be 7 vehicles, we just wanna get 1 or 2, SUVs, depending what we can afford. With the money that we already have, we're not asking for anything else. We just,
That's a good.
I just wanna make that clear. We're not asking for anything else,
So
we
I'm
just.
sorry, so the question is, you want the SUVs, but Mayor, you don't like SUVs?
As a general rule, I think SUVs are a waste of gas and money. And they don't go, I don't know that they go all that much better in nasty weather and snow, they're just bigger vehicles. And I've never been, the guys love them, and they use them, and they do some things. But, so I have this inherent It's like, I would never buy one for myself. So when Jay is lobbying them, I said, money's virtually equal, but it's not just my decision. It's got to be like you guys have to decide. It's awesome.
And Jay, you see the advantage of the SUV as?
Four-wheel drive in the winter, they're also a little bit higher. We get a lot of water here, you know, in some places. You know, so some of these cars get wet, they go, you know, they get under the water, these cars are a little higher, so we can use them. We can put 2 or 3 cops in them if we need to, you know, when we get really bad weather. They're a little
So they'll be used for
bigger.
patrol?
Used for patrol,
Yeah.
yep.
Patrol.
Used for patrol. You'll see almost every other,
Anyone in particular will get these cars?
we haven't really decided who, and, EMTs maybe, because they carry some extra stuff, so it'd be a little easier for them, you know, they have the air, they have the oxygen and all that stuff, so maybe we would give them to them to use on a regular basis, and then if someone else needed them on a day that we had nasty weather, we would, you know.
Right now,
let them
just the
use it.
supervisors use it?
Right now, just the supervisors have to, we have all the supervisor stuff in there, and they're pretty much full of a whole bunch of things that we explain.
I had an SUV and I'm back in the sedan, and I miss my SUV on the nasty weather, when we have snow and
Yeah, so-
inclement weather. I do miss.
Yeah, so we don't want a lot of them, I mean, because I don't think we need a lot of them, but, you know, having 1 or 2 or 3 would be useful for us when it does, you know, when we do get the
If
nasty
it fits
weather.
within the budget.
Right, I mean, we're not gonna do anything that doesn't fit within the budget.
We need $5,000 more for it? No.
No, we're not asking for any more money, I already told Charlie that we can't do
I'm
that,
okay with that.
I'm good with it.
so.
I also like the idea of like the EMTs carrying some.
Yeah, because they have some more equipment and stuff, might be a little easier for them.
She's all yes and yes. I'm bored.
I got John.
Okay, we're good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll talk about that tomorrow night.
Now I did it.
Mr. Woolley, a brief board book update, because I know you're meeting with them on Thursday mornings.
Yes, it's moving along well. I was down there, Friday, they're finishing up the pavilions. We're looking at putting some message signs on the pavilions, telling people about events, concerts, all that type of stuff. The lights should be activated, I'm hoping this week. They were going to get the meters in. I had to kind of go to Mr. Markey on that, but a lot of the other stuff is going great. I think they're looking at paving. Once the asphalt plants open up again, they close from the winter time, so that's usually a March situation. So, you know, we are going over putting some benches. As I said before, I explained to you where the benches are going to go in the trash containers, so that's kind of a work in progress. It's you know, coming down to the punch line too. And it's going very well, so we should definitely be scheduled, contract scheduled.
Good, good to hear. Okay, review of the regular meeting agenda. Any questions, Michael?
No,
Don?
thank you.
Joy? I have a question about the Verizon, where they're gonna use our right-of-ways.
They're just gonna put some,
Is it all, any right-of-way in the city, or there's
they're
specific
gonna go in
ones?
their poles.
Okay,
You know, it's just adding some amplifying things on poles, more towards, I think, West End and Elberon.
Are we getting funds for that?
No,
I know.
they're putting equipment on their own poles that they own. Improving the service in the city. And I think from the agreement that I got, we're not, you know, the only thing we get is that tariff thing that Mike collects annually. They somehow got this exempted from it. Yeah, I mean, it's going to improve phone service, and it didn't, I was concerned that it might interfere with the stuff that we're doing here, so I had Charlie and Jason and those guys check it out, and it didn't bother me.
okay, good. Any other questions? Okay, I need a motion to close.
So move.
We have a hand in the back.
Charlie says we can do it by zone. Talking to him now, but I want to make sure, just so you know, he says we can raise it by zone, so it'd be zone 3.
You can still use license plates?
That's what he said. I will confirm that, but just so you guys
No, that's
Okay.
an app.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's bring him down.
That's what he says now.
Okay, motion to close?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? I need a motion to adopt the resolution to go into executive session for the following items: litigation, LaPorte, Kelly, LB Partners, personnel matter, labor attorney, contract negotiations, The Bluffs, Blackridge, Pier, Tyler Home.